Have you ever walked into a room and instantly noticed how some people naturally draw attention without saying a single word? It's not about looks. It's not about charm. It's something deeper. Something that silently speaks louder than words. It's presence. The kind of presence that captivates, intrigues, and makes others lean in, curious, engaged, and wanting more. Attraction isn't some magical mystery. It's a skill, a mindset, and above all, an understanding of human psychology. In today's world, where attention spans are short and everyone's trying to stand out, the real power lies in knowing how to subtly pull people in, without chasing, without begging, and without trying too hard. That's what this video is all about. We're diving into 7 powerful psychological triggers that the most confident and effortlessly attractive individuals use, consciously or unconsciously, to leave a lasting impression. From the art of eye contact that speaks volumes, to the push and pull tension that builds irresistible intrigue, to the kind of playful teasing, role reversal, and subtle touch that bypass the logical mind and ignite emotional connection. These aren't cheesy pickup lines or manipulative tactics. They're timeless techniques rooted in psychology, emotional intelligence, and authenticity. They work not just in romantic situations, but in all forms of connection, whether you're building chemistry, trust, or influence. So if you're ready to learn how to become the kind of person who naturally attracts without pretending to be someone you're not, then make sure you watch this video until the end. Because what you're about to discover can change the way you interact with others forever. Number 1. The magnetic power of humor in attraction. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a guy, let's call him Adam. He wasn't the best-dressed man in the room. He didn't have model looks or a flashy lifestyle. But anytime he walked into a social setting, something strange happened. People naturally gravitated toward him, especially women. Why? Because Adam had mastered one powerful thing that most people overlook: humor. Not the kind of humor that tries too hard to be funny. Not crude jokes or forced laughter. But the kind of humor that disarms tension, that makes people feel safe, seen, and emotionally uplifted. At a dinner party, a woman once asked him, "So what do you do for a living?" Without missing a beat, he smirked and replied, "I try to avoid it as much as possible." Everyone laughed, including her. But the real magic happened in how he made her feel. She let her guard down. She leaned in. She started to associate being around Adam with feeling good. That's the real magnetic power of humor in attraction. It bypasses logical resistance. It melts tension. It turns an ordinary interaction into a memorable moment. Humor also signals emotional intelligence, confidence, and social calibration. It shows you can handle life lightly, even when things get serious. And that, psychologically speaking, is deeply attractive, because people crave emotional safety and lightness in a world full of stress and seriousness. So remember this: you don't need to be a comedian. You just need to be present enough to see the lightness in the moment, and brave enough to express it without fear of judgment. Because in the end, the person who can make someone laugh can make someone fall, not just in love, but into connection, trust, and comfort. Number 2, the art of playful teasing in attraction. Let me paint the scene. There's a girl sitting at a coffee shop scrolling through her phone. A guy walks up, not with a cheesy pickup line, but with a confident smirk and says, "Careful. If you keep scrolling that fast, you might open a portal to another dimension." She bursts out laughing. He didn't compliment her looks. He didn't try to impress her. He teased her, lightly, playfully. And in that moment, he created something most people miss in interactions: a spark, a challenge, a shift in emotional energy. Playful teasing is an art, and when used right, it instantly flips the script. You're no longer a stranger trying to gain her approval. You become someone she's curious about, someone who doesn't take things too seriously, someone who's already confident enough to challenge her in a way that feels fun, not threatening. Psychologically, this works because it triggers the reward system in the brain. Teasing creates a moment of unpredictability, tiny emotional highs that make her want to stay engaged. But here's the key. It's playful, not hurtful. It's a wink, not a jab. It's, "You're trouble, aren't you?" Not, "You talk too much." Big difference. When done with warmth and a smile, teasing becomes a powerful form of flirting. It creates tension, but the kind people enjoy. It invites someone to step into your frame, to engage with you emotionally. Think of it like a dance. A step forward, a step back, a little challenge, followed by a shared laugh. That back and forth creates chemistry. So next time you're in a conversation, don't try to impress. Try to tease, lightly. Because when she laughs and rolls her eyes in the same moment, you're doing it right. Number 3, the subtle art of mirroring in attraction. Picture this. You're on a first date. The vibe is good. The conversation flows. And without realizing it, you both reach for your drinks at the same time. She crosses her legs. A few moments later, so do you. She tilts her head slightly as she laughs, and you feel yourself doing the same. None of it is planned. None of it is forced. But it all feels right. That's mirroring. The unspoken psychological dance of connection. Mirroring is one of the most powerful tools in attraction because it happens below the surface. It's not about copying someone mechanically. It's about reflecting their energy, rhythm, and subtle behaviors in a way that tells the unconscious mind, we're alike, we're connected, we're in sync. And the mind loves that feeling. In fact, research in social psychology shows that people are more likely to feel comfortable, trusting, and attracted to those who subtly mirror them. It's nature's way of saying, you belong here. Let's go back to that date. She leans in when she talks. So you do too, just slightly. She laughs with her shoulders relaxed. So you let yours drop too, showing ease. Your tone mirrors hers. If she's soft, you soften. If she's energetic, you turn up the volume. These aren't tricks. They're signs that you're present, that you're actually tuned into the moment, not stuck in your head rehearsing what to say next. And she feels it. The best part? Mirroring makes the interaction feel organic, not transactional. It deepens rapport, builds subconscious trust, and subtly says, I see you. I get you. So next time you're talking to someone you're drawn to, don't just focus on the words. Watch the body language. Feel the rhythm. And instead of trying to stand out, try to sink in. Because sometimes, the strongest connections are felt in silence, in posture, in the beautiful, unspoken harmony of mirroring. Number 4, flipping the script. The power of making her chase you. Imagine this. A man walks into the room. He's calm, centered, present. He's not looking around, trying to impress. He's not chasing validation. He's simply there, anchored in his own frame. Now here's what happens next. Women notice him, not because he's loud or flashy, but because he's different. He's not doing what most men do. He's not chasing. He's letting her come to him. This is the power of flipping the script. You see, most guys are taught to pursue relentlessly, to initiate, to prove their worth. to win her over. But that dynamic can create imbalance. When one person is always the pursuer, the other becomes the prize. And once that happens, the energy becomes one-sided. But here's what high-value men do differently. They invite, not chase. They create space for her to invest. They flip the script. How? By not being overly available. By not responding instantly to every message. By maintaining their own life, goals, and purpose, and not bending them to seek approval. Here's a story. A woman once said, "The guy who had me hooked wasn't the one texting me good morning every day. It was the one who made me wonder what he was thinking, what he was up to, and why I cared so much." That mystery? That curiosity? It didn't come from playing games. It came from presence. From a man who was so complete in himself that she wanted to be part of his world. But she had to earn her way in. Flipping the script isn't about arrogance. It's about value alignment. It's about knowing that you're enough without constantly proving it. Because when she starts to wonder if she's doing enough to keep your attention, that's when the game changes. She becomes invested. She leans in. She starts chasing. And here's the truth. People value what they have to earn. So instead of being the one who always initiates, be the one she wants to impress. Be the one who knows his time and energy are sacred. The man who can walk away without bitterness is the man she'll never want to walk away from. Number 5, the silent power of eye contact in attraction. Picture this. You're at a social gathering. Laughter, conversations, music humming in the background. Across the room, your eyes meet hers. You don't look away. You don't force a smile. You just hold the gaze, calm, grounded, and present. And in that single moment, something electric happens. No words, no gestures, just pure connection. This is the silent power of eye contact. It's one of the most ancient forms of human communication. And yet, it's also one of the most underestimated tools in attraction. Why? Because when a man uses his gaze with intention, he's not just looking at her. He's inviting her into his world, not seeking approval, not overanalyzing, just being. And that presence, it's magnetic. There's a story a woman once shared. He didn't even say much, but when he looked at me, it was like he could see straight through me. I wasn't used to that kind of attention. It wasn't aggressive or needy. It was calm, confident, and it stuck with me. That's what real eye contact does. It lingers in her memory. It creates curiosity. She begins to wonder, who is he? What is he thinking? Why can't I stop thinking about that look? And here's what makes it even more powerful. Eye contact triggers emotional attunement. It shows you're not distracted, not self-conscious. You're fully present. It says, I see you. Not just physically, but emotionally. Psychologists even say that prolonged eye contact increases trust and emotional bonding. It's no wonder couples in love often gaze at each other without speaking, because in that silence, connection deepens. But there's an art to it. It's not about staring her down. It's about soft dominance, an intentional gaze that carries intrigue, not intensity. A look that says, I'm here, I see you, and I'm not afraid of being seen. When combined with a subtle smirk, a raised brow, or even a moment of silence, that eye contact becomes a conversation all on its own. So if you want to captivate her without saying a word, master your gaze. Let her feel your presence before you ever speak. Because once she feels it, you're not just a face in the room anymore. You're the one she remembers long after you've gone. Number 6, the art of push and pull in attraction. Imagine this. You're having an incredible conversation with a woman. She's laughing, she's engaged, there's a spark in her eyes. Then, mid-laugh, you lean back slightly, smile, and say with a playful grin, "You're a little dangerous, aren't you? I should probably keep my distance." Boom. She freezes, smiles, but now she's intrigued. That, right there, is the push. A playful moment where you create just enough space, enough uncertainty, to stir her curiosity. And then, a few moments later, you soften your voice and say, "But I've got to admit, there's something about your energy. It's kind of addictive." That's the pull. The push-pull dynamic is one of the most powerful tools in attraction. It's the emotional roller coaster that keeps her engaged, guessing, and wanting more. Here's the psychology behind it. When people can predict how a conversation will go, they disengage. But when you gently shift between interest and playful distance, you activate emotional tension. Tension is what fuels desire. It's that sweet spot between "I want you" and "you're going to have to earn this." It keeps her mind spinning, wondering what you'll say or do next. There's a reason why movies, novels, even music revolve around this rhythm. Attraction needs movement. Too much pull, and it feels like neediness. Too much push, and it feels cold or arrogant. But when you balance both, you become unpredictable in the best way. A woman once described it perfectly. "He wasn't always available, and that made me think about him more. Sometimes he'd tease me, make me chase a little, and just when I'd get frustrated, he'd say something that made my heart melt. I didn't know what would happen next, and I loved that." That's the magic of push and pull. It's not about playing games. It's about creating dynamic, emotionally engaging conversations that spark chemistry without trying too hard. So next time you feel that connection building, don't just ride it smoothly. Add a twist. Say something playful. Step back, then step forward with warmth. Let her wonder. Because the people who linger in our minds aren't the ones who gave us everything up front. They're the ones who knew how to stir our emotions without saying too much. Number 7. The subtle art of touch and its influence on attraction. Picture this. You're walking side by side. The conversation is flowing. The laughter is real. And then, without thinking, you place your hand lightly on the small of her back as you guide her through a crowded doorway. She doesn't flinch. She smiles. It's just a second, but it lingers in her mind, long after it's gone. That's the power of subtle touch. Most men underestimate it. But touch is one of the most powerful tools in attraction because it speaks to the primal part of us, the part that responds not to logic, but to feeling. When you master touch, you're not just talking to her. You're communicating confidence, comfort, and connection without saying a word. But here's the key. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being attuned, reading the moment, and respecting the space. A confident man doesn't force touch. He invites it. It can be something as simple as a playful high five during a joke, a brief touch on her forearm as you make a point, a light guiding hand as you cross the street. These small, natural touches activate warmth, familiarity, and emotional closeness. There's even a principle called the 5 to 15 rule. Aim for at least 5 brief, natural touches in a 15-minute interaction. Not creepy, not forced, just fluid and organic. Want to take it deeper? The zones of touch matter too. Hands are the safest entry point, light, casual, and playful. Arms and shoulders signal familiarity. The lower back or hip, when timed right, shows confidence and intimacy. Hair or face, reserved for the most connected moments. Used sparingly, they create unforgettable impact. A woman once said, "It wasn't what he said that made me feel attracted to him. It was how he made me feel just by the way he gently touched my arm when he laughed. It was subtle, but it felt real." That's it. Touch bypasses the mind and goes straight to the heart. It creates a felt experience, something words alone can't deliver. The truth is, flirting isn't about grand gestures or clever lines. It's about knowing how to be fully present, tuned in, and comfortable in your own skin. Because the man who understands how and when to touch, without rushing, without pressure, makes a woman feel safe, seen, and desired. And that is unforgettable. Final thought. Attraction isn't about trying too hard. It's not about flashy lines, chasing approval, or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about being fully present, confident in your skin, grounded in your energy, and emotionally aware. The 7 techniques you've just explored, humor, playful teasing, mirroring, flipping the script, eye contact, push and pull, and subtle touch, aren't tricks. They're reflections of a man who understands human connection on a deeper level. When you combine confidence with authenticity, presence with playfulness, mystery with warmth, you don't just become attractive, you become unforgettable. And remember this: you don't have to chase, you don't have to convince, you only have to be. Because the most magnetic energy in the world is the energy of a man who knows his worth and doesn't need to prove it. So step into that energy, not to impress others, but to fully express the powerful man you already are.